Let's get it.
Hey, it's Bryan with DD214 Transport. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. It is Wednesday. We are live. We are here for you. So tonight we're going to talk about preventative maintenance and why it's so effing important. All right, before we get going too far here, thank you guys for showing up. I really appreciate it. All right, so we're going to thank our veterans and first responders for all they do and all they continue to do for this country. We would not be the country we are without them. Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital are our charities of choice. If you want to work with me directly, you can go over there to the Mentorship program and sign up for one of the programs, and you'll have my phone number. I will work with you one-on-one, depending what your needs are. And all the money that's collected over there is matched at the end of the year and provided to these two charities. So thank you for helping us help them. Trailer service is open. If you're within 90 miles of Charlotte, 75 air miles or 90 miles road miles, and you need help, reach out to us. We can help you. Preventative maintenance and why it's so important is tonight's topic. So you're going to bring your questions and we are going to answer. All right, this week, guys, diesel prices is down to an average of $3.84.8. That's down again 4.5 cents or so, 4.6. I saw it for $3.58 today. So yeah, down a little bit. I guess tomorrow will be up a little bit, but we just kind of keep track of it here. Yeah. If you don't know, now you know. International Road Check is underway May 14th through the 16th. Today is day 2. So if you're out on the road, guys, they're looking, and they're looking for careless and reckless driving by a commercial motor vehicle or around a commercial motor vehicle. July 7th through the 13th is Blitz Week. Same thing, careless and reckless driving. All right, that's what they're looking for. This is the next one, July 7th through the 13th. Guys, I see a lot of hotshot drivers out there running that left lane and just hammered down. And, with a commercial motor vehicle, you've got to watch your speed because careless and reckless will be given to you quickly. So be careful. Or the other one that they'll get you for is too fast for conditions. Either one's going to hurt you bad. Okay. All right. News. April data shows. Now I said this last week. This is just another headline that come out that there was really no improvement in April for freight demand. So, I said that last week. This headline sort of shows it again. It's a backwards looking index. 163,000 drivers. 163,000 drivers are currently at risk of losing their CDL in November or having them downgraded. Now, and in this case, in the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse, if there was ever a problem with the driver, it's in there. Well, now for them to get their license reinstated, they have to go through that back to work program. And that means you got to take a drug class, you got to back to on duty status program that's set up through the FMCSA. You got to go through all that. And if you haven't done it, the states, the FMCSA has mandated that the states downgrade your CDL or make you unqualified to drive. So, I hope I don't have a lot of guys out there that's in that situation, but if for some reason you did get in that situation, you plan on keeping it, you got till November before they start downgrading you. All right, pictures of the week. Here's Steven. He's hauling a big man lift. This is Steven. He's loaded down. He's got a go buggy and a whole bunch of stuff going on back through there. It's a good picture, Steven. We got Robert. This is, I carried this last week and he picked up the other two. So, so those are hay balers, like the old ones. When I was a kid and we baled hay, we used the same sort of hay baler. They're square bales. All right, here's John Talley. He's enjoying himself on the deck of his trailer, sitting there just eating a steak. Good for you, man. Enjoy life. All right, crazy shit you see out there, guys. These tractor trailers don't make good off-road vehicles. I'll tell you that right now. And if you ever think about dropping your tire off the edge of a small road like that, think again, because when you drop off, it'll suck you right over into the ditch, because all of a sudden this tire slows down and off you go. So it's just don't do it. Even on dry ground, be sure you know what that ground's like and what the weather's been for the last few days, because if you drop that tire off, it's going to suck you right over in it. All right, under the hood this week's been crazy. So everybody's running. I've been running loads and the van. I'm also in class. I went to a axle service class this morning and yesterday. I am finding holes in the van setup. And guys, one thing about it, when you're in the hotshot industry or you start any kind of new business or new adventure or new anything, let's say you decided to go four-wheeling, okay? Something that simple. You decided to go four-wheeling. The first time you go out, you're going to find holes in your thought process. You're going to say, hey, I need this, or hey, I need to lighten up here, or hey, something. Okay. Well, one of the things, just to let you know, one of the things that I thought I would do is, those cans of brake clean, those things are expensive, man. They're like $8, $9 a can. And I thought, well, I'm going to put a parts washer on here and that'll do it. Well, my thought process was right. What I bought was wrong. It's not going to work. It's a cool little parts washer, but it's plastic, which means it can't be solvent based. It has to be water based cleaner. And although it did an okay job, it took much longer to clean the stuff out than I wanted it to. So that was a hole. Couple other little holes I found was I'll make it clear to you. I bought all this gear. I got enough gear on that van. I kid you not. We can fix just about anything that breaks. If we can't fix it, we can weld it. And we can't weld it, we can sure duck it. because I got a lot of duct tape on there too. So, but when I went to start doing service or actual services, I realized that I didn't need all that. I needed these tools, a finite set of tools. So I ended up going out and buying those tools again and putting them in an axle box so that I don't have to dig through stuff to find other things. If I need that other stuff, it's there. But if I don't need it, I can just grab the actual service box and walk away with it. So these are the types of holes that I'm finding, and you will find holes in your Hotshot gig. I'll tell you guys that it's going to take you a year to get your truck and trailer set up the way you want it, to exactly the way you want it, to where you know muscle memory wise where everything on that truck and trailer is, and you don't have to think about it. So this is what I'm talking about. I call these holes, things that are not exactly the way I want them. So that's what I mean by holes. We are still looking for a service tech for the van, but I'm glad I get to do it right now because I want to find these holes and work out the problems before I put somebody else in there and try to train them to use the stuff that needs to be done. Now, so preventative maintenance and why it's so important. Before I get into this, I want to run over here real quick and say, hey, so who's in the house tonight? We got Nova. Nova Vroom Vroom's in the house. Let's see. We got Stump. Hey, Stump, buddy. I'm glad you're here. Jim Frackleton, Kelly. Robert Kynes is here. Robert, just FYI, do me a favor, and the next time you are scheduled to go home, plan on coming this way, and I'll service the axles on that trailer. They're coming due. So let's do that. So the guys are just chatting around here. So Ford man's in the house. All right, Lawrence. Hey, brother. All right. So anyway, let me get off here or Mila will be yelling at me. Preventative maintenance. Let's talk about it. Now, you know, in most cases, guys, listen, in most cases, your truck, you guys are doing really good stuff with your truck. You're getting oil changed. You're getting your fuel filters changed. You know, you have a computer on your truck that's going to tell you when to do that. You're getting the crankcase filters changed. You're servicing your front and rear differentials. All that stuff, you know, it seems like everybody's got that down. But what we're going to talk tonight about is what goes on from the gooseneck or the trailer hitch back on that trailer, because it is so important to get these things done. And you forget about them until they break, and then you're like, oh God, it needs to get fixed. And there's if you get them fixed through preventative maintenance, it's not going to be a problem where you're roadside or you're into emergency maintenance, which is extremely expensive. All right, hang on, let me get a drink and I'll bring this back up. Okay. Preventative maintenance, PM, is the practice of regularly maintaining equipment and assets to prevent costly downtime from unexpected equipment failure. PM can also have environmental benefits, since poorly maintained equipment tend to use more fuel than those who are functionally correct. Now, what I am going to show you tonight is a bearing job I did last weekend, where I know this guy's going to get better fuel mileage just from doing the service, and I'll go through and show you. All right, so here we go. Preventative costly downtime. All right, scheduling maintenance. You want to schedule your maintenance on your time when you are going to be down. Okay, when you're not going to have a load, when you know where you're going to be at a specific time, because not many places have the parts for our gear. The reason I got into the axle service thing was because it cost me a fortune in both downtime and the fact that we had to overnight parts. I had to go get parts because the shops that normally work on these things work on semis. What I found is the guys that are working on this stuff normally work on semis, and they do not want to fool with us. They do not want to fool with these 12,000 pound or 15,000 or 10,000 pound axles because they don't carry the stock for them. So when not only are you going to have the downtime for the amount of time that if you don't schedule it in, that trailer is going to be in the shop. If it's an emergency situation, you could be 10 days out. If you're under a load, that's a massive problem. So, all right. So many places don't have the parts for our gear. Not many places work on our gear, and most that do are 5 to 10 days out. So if you're averaging, if you're getting $900 to $1,000 a day and you're 10 days out, that's $10,000 you're going to be caught up with. So you got to think about that. So schedule your maintenance on your time. Do not try to do this, I'm going to run it till she breaks type of thing. Poorly maintained equipment uses more fuel. It is a fact. If you are running on grease that has no more viscosity, that means your bearings are getting hot and they're expanding, your hubs are getting hot, and it's not running like it should. All right. The second thing is it's unsafe. It's unsafe for you. It's unsafe for the general public at large because, you can lose a wheel, you can lose a hub, there's just a lot of things that can happen if you don't keep these things maintenanced. You maintenance them just like you do your truck. All right. Unsafe in that failures can leave you down roadside. All right. That's a major problem. I can't stand. I've been left down roadside with a flat tire I couldn't get off. It was too low. I couldn't get a jack under it. Finally got it. I did do it, but it left me roadside way longer than I wanted to be roadside. That is some dangerous stuff, guys. And a DOT can put you out of service, and that's going to hurt everybody you're involved with. So understand that. All right. Example of neglected maintenance. Guys, this is the exact trailer. No, I'm sorry. This is the same trailer, same type of trailer. You can see it's got 3 axles, 6 wheels, and this is what we did the maintenance on the other day that had been so neglected. Don't get me wrong, the guy is a good guy, but again, you're looking at a situation where it just wasn't taken care of, whether it was unknowing or there wasn't anything wrong with it at the time or whatever. And I actually, when I went out to do this service, initially I went out to weld. I didn't go out to do any of that. But while I was there, I was looking and he had oil leaks. And I said, when's the last time you serviced this? He said he had never serviced it. Now this axle is a 2023, so it's a year old, maybe 2. I don't know how they work, whether they put them in a year in advance or what, but he'd never serviced this stuff. Hey, Mila, I see you. I'm going to bring you on for a second. Hey, how are you? Say hello to everybody, but your mic's off.
Hello, everybody.
There you go. So, all right. We are in 2 different locations today. So thank you for being here, ma'am. I'll bring you on.
Absolutely.
Now, Mila was there with me when we were changing this mess. So I'll bring her on in a minute to tell you how that was. All right. So again, this is the trailer right here. And this is the first dust cap I pulled off. Okay. And I knew right then and there that was going to be a problem. You see, he's got a little bit of red grease here on top that's still good. But if you look, everything around it and in back of it is mud. It looks like mud. So I pulled it off and I knew right then and there this was going to start being an issue. All right, so these are the brakes or the lack thereof. They're pretty wore down. The magnets in really bad shape. And those are the hubs. There should be no grooves in these hubs. Okay, so these hubs have been wore down to where you're not going to be able to put another magnet in there because it's going to groove right down to it. And so I talked to the guy and we are going to replace hubs, backplate, brakes, everything in about 60 days is what I told him. This was basically to get him back on the road and save what he had rather than to burn up the entire axle. Now that's the bearing that come out. You can see it is black and muddy and gumpy. So like in the first axle I did, it's just not been taken care of. The grease, the viscosity of the grease is like mud. It's gritty, it's gross. So yeah, there was nothing there that was left worth saving. Again, this is another one. This one, the rear seal had been busted out of it. It's leaking. I pulled the seal off and it actually has some decent looking grease in here. Okay, even though the brake rotor is just gone, the grease in this one wasn't terrible. But look here. Can you see how this inner race, I'm going to be quiet for a second and kind of blow this up, but look at where my finger's pointing in that inner race, that has been scarred. So yeah, so as I was looking for the cause of the scar, initially I was thinking, well, that's gotten dirt in it and that's what did it. But a little more investigation, look at this. See the scar around this bearing? So a piece of dirt, a piece of metal, something, and it doesn't take much. It just can be a little bit, and it scarred that. Okay. Now, in a situation where I've got sets of these bearings coming in stock. Now, this is a 7K axle. Most of you guys are going to be running 12. I've got those bearings coming as well just to have. But these bearings should have been replaced. Okay. If I would have had them in stock, I'd have replaced them. All right. Now, look at how hot this bearing got. I hope you can see it. But the inside of this race here on the inside of the bearing got hot. That means it seized at some point on that spindle. Okay. This is the inner race to that bearing. And see how it got hot? All dark. Now this stuff is caused because it's not being greased. Once that grease loses viscosity, it's no longer lubricating. You're running bearing on bearing on race is all you're running. Okay. Now, this is really important. You see the outside of the bearing, how this one got hot? See how it got hot? Last one, I hope you can see this. This bearing is coming apart right here. So, again, we gave him maybe 60 days, and this is what he knows. He was advised that he didn't have much time left on these bearings, and he's coming back to get a full brake drum, bearing assembly, and brakes because he wore it out. There's nothing left. Now, on this picture, what you are seeing, if you see this grease like this, and it's bubbled up and starting to turn color, that's water intrusion. If it's looking like that, water somehow it's either come through the back or it's come through the front dust cap or both, but that's water intrusion. Now, it looks bad here on the front, but just look behind it a little bit and it goes black really quick. All right. That's the bearing that come out of there. It's been wet. You see how it looks like mud? That is wet. That means it has had water up against it. There's a better right here. You see here this brownish on the front of the spindle. If you see the threads and you come down the threads onto the spindle, that first part there where it looks kind of like baby shit brown, that's water. All right. So on this one, it looks like the dust cap had actually failed and allowed water through it. That is the rear bearing that come out of it. That is nothing but water, guys. Look at it. It looks like pudding. Looks just like pudding. Okay. Listen, as professional drivers, or as professional drivers or owner operators, you can't let your equipment do this. You have to service it. You have to be on top of it. If you don't want to do it, get it to somebody that can do it or is willing to do it, because that rig probably had another week on it, maybe, before things started seizing up and failing miserably. We got maybe 60 days out of it. No guarantee we're going to have 60 days, but I think we got 60 days out of it by completely repacking the bearings. And that is a Band-Aid. Okay. If you were in town and I was servicing you, I would say this is a Band-Aid. This is not going to fix your problem. So the PM recommendations, again, I just come out of class today, and the PM recommendations for grease axles is new grease every 90 days. Okay. So I want you to think about this. This is not a hard thing to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it real quick. All right, let's see. Let me back it up. Okay. You have a grease axle. What you want to do is, and all you have to do is take the dust cap off. Okay, take it completely off, or otherwise you could blow out the rear seal. So you want to take the dust cap off, clean as much out as you can with your finger, then start pumping brand new grease in here. I use red and tacky. Pump brand new grease in here until you get new grease back out the front of that bearing. Okay. Get as much of that old grease out of there as you can. Every 90 days, every quarter. you need to do that. So that is something that, my bad. That is something I highly recommend. That's 4 times a year. All right, it may take you 2 tubes of grease per wheel, 1.5 to 2 per wheel to get that pushed all the way through. And that's I don't know what it costs. I think they're $10 or something. But that little bit of preventative maintenance right there on a grease axle is going to save you a ton. Now, you should have a complete axle and bearing service every 36,000 miles or 1 year. Okay. And what that, the brake suspension service is all done at the same time. It's all looked at the same time. So even though it's on a different line, it wouldn't fit on the same line. But the axle service is actually pulling the hub apart, pulling all the bearings out, cleaning all the bearings, inspecting the bearings, and repacking them, putting them back in. And you should do that 36,000 miles or 1 year. Okay. 36,000 miles or 1 year. On the oil, it's a little easier on the oil, because to do the 90-day oil change on that is you pull your wheels off, set them aside, lower it down, pop your oil bath cap off, let the oil drain out, put the wheels back on, and refill. All you're doing is cleaning that gear oil out of there, that 80, 90 weight gear oil. Complete axle and bearing service on that. And that means you're pulling them out and inspecting them. Okay. You want to inspect them to make sure them bearings aren't coming apart. Because the last thing you want to do, I'm telling you, if you score that spindle, you're going to be replacing an axle. Because a lot of these things, a lot of these heavier spindles are not replaceable. So if you bend them or score them or burn them up, you have to replace the axle. So the key numbers are every 90 days on both, 36,000 miles or a year, depending on how much you use it. But you need to get it in there, get somebody looking at it. And if you can do it yourself, that's even better. So let's talk about it. Do we have questions, comments, concerns? Everybody's got this. I just went to school for it because I wanted to make sure I had it the right way. And I know it's easy to skip over the trailer stuff, but you have to remember you're not pulling a tow behind trailer with a lawnmower on anymore. You're pulling a 10,000 pound piece of equipment with another 18,000 pounds on top of it. And that's what makes your money. So you can take care of it a little bit, or it will cost you a ton to fix it when it breaks. And it's not just going to cost you parts and labor to fix it, whether it's emergency roadside service or it's, scheduled service that you haven't been taken care of. Either way, okay, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So pay a little bit as you go, do a little bit of work as you go, and service these things as you go. The last thing you want to do, Frank G. Trucks, you are absolutely correct. That's what I said in the beginning. Cheap fix at the house, big money on the road. You don't have a choice on the road. Frank, you're absolutely right. You do not have a choice on the road. You have to get it fixed. If you're under a load, it's even worse because now you're under time constraints. And let me tell you, they got you by the cojones. So thank you. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. And I totally agree with you. But if they did, Robert, they did teach an old dog a few new tricks. a lot of the few new tricks was what to look for, more than how to fix, but what to look for and how to, with what you saw, how to diagnose what the problem is. That was what I learned today. A lot of it I knew because I've been studying for the last several months. I knew it up front. I've been doing it, so I got that experience. But there were a few little things that I did not know, and I was like, and the funniest stuff is little hints, like if the axle's placed on incorrectly from whoever put the axle on, no matter whether it's no matter what no matter what axle it is, the axle tag as to the description, the serial number, all that will be facing on the back of the axle. Okay, it's on the back. If it's on the front side of the axle's on backwards. Didn't know that, did you? So I didn't know that until today. But anyway, yeah, so big money on the side of the road. When you schedule your maintenance so that your maintenance is done at your convenience. Here's the example. The place I take, let me rephrase that. The place I was taking before they greased me up with used grease and put it to me, that place, we would take it there, like Robert's brakes failed on him. We would take it there and we would be down 5, 6, 7 days. Well, $900 to $1,000 a day, that's $5,000. Then they bang you with another $4,000 to repair the brakes. Well, you just lost 10 grand, guys. So if you're going to take it in somewhere to get it fixed, schedule it. You're going to be back on the 15th. You want to drop it off on the 15th. You're going to be off a week. You'd like to pick it up the next week and have that all worked out. That way you're not put in a line and you got to wait 5 days just to get in. Okay. So it's all scheduling, guys. That's all it is. It's all scheduling. And we just have to make sure that you take care of these axles. You take care of this trailer. The other things you want to be looking at on your trailer is broken welds, especially in significantly important spots. You want to look at your hangers, whatever's holding your axles on. You want to be checking those out. You want to make sure you've got it. If you're running springs, you want to make sure you have W springs. If they flip and now you don't have a W, then your spring hanger's flipped and you've got to get that sprung back. Get it to somebody that can fix it for you. All right. What other questions we got, Miss Mead? No? Any utility having air ride trailer or hydraulic dovetail trailer? Yeah, I mean, we have all of our stuff. All of our stuff is air ride, Christopher. We do air ride because there's a lot of equipment out there, such as CNC machines. Some of this stuff with computerized that require air ride, and all of our stuff is air ride. So hydraulic dovetail, I want one. I just won't pay for one right now. So I would like to have a hydraulic dovetail. So yeah, absolutely, Christopher. There's utility in it. I would recommend it. So, Miss Miller, we have? Yes, no. There are a lot of different grease manufacturers out there. Don't go cheap and get the lowest price grease because you'll get what you pay for. Right? Okay. Yep. I got you. Yeah, he uses Amsoil. Well, that's some expensive grease. I use Red and Tacky. I think it's about $10 a tube, something like that, for 14 ounces. It's not cheap. But you want to look at, be sure you get good grease. He's right. Stump is correct. Don't buy cheap when you're counting on this thing to make you money. You buy cheap, you buy twice, and you have to realize that. So thank you, Stump. I appreciate it. I use diesel to clean parts. No, I get it, man, but I can't carry diesel around in the back of the van. So what I did was I went to JEG, which is a performance place, and I bought a solvent washer. So I'll be using that brake lean in a can, but I bought it in the 5-gallon jug, and I'll be using it in there. And it's got a seal around the lip to keep the smell out. So I got a snaz that can smell anything. I don't like it. So yeah, diesel's good. You can use it if you got some place to where you can breathe. It's fine. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. There is so many parts, and it's really strange that I learned today was we have, a 2,000 pound, a 3,000 pound, a 3,200 pound, a 5,200 pound, a 6,000 pound, a 7,000 pound, an 8,000 pound. Then it goes to 10, 12, 15, all these axles. And very few of the axles, whether it's the hangers, the seals, the bearings, very few of those are interchangeable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy in stock the 12,000 pound, the 10,000 pound, the 15,000 pound, and the 7,000 pound, as well as the 5,200 pound, because that's what most of the dump trailers have on. I'm going to keep those 5 axles. Probably won't keep an axle, but I will keep hubs, bearings, seals, dust caps, because all those are different. I will keep those in stock here. And if you guys are rolling through and you need something, I'll have it here. So you can just give me a call and we'll figure it out. Let's see if I can do this real quick. I'm going to have to do this while I'm talking to you, but if you guys will take this number down. Extension. If you'll take this number down, that's my office number, and I'll be able to, if you need a part or something, I can get you what you need to do that. I'll give you an example of what I ran into the other day. Had a guy call me, he had a dust cap missing, and I didn't have any dust caps here. Everything I've got's on order right now. Didn't have any dust caps, so I went down to the local trailer shop, got 2 dust caps because they come in pairs. With tax, it was $15. Mila, was it 13 or 15?
13.
$13, 2 dust caps. And when I went and I put it on for him and gave him the other one. Wasn't any big deal. But when I went back to order them, they were like $4 a piece for me to order, being a dealer. So if you guys can, need something, call me and we'll see if I can get it for you any cheaper if you're rolling through. Otherwise, it's going to have shipping on it, and then I don't know if that would be any cheaper for you or not. All right, so let's see what else we got, man. We got anything else for this evening? Bryan, can you weld? Yeah. Do you have a welder on your service truck? Yes. I have a welder on the service truck, and I welded the other day. So the funny part about welding was I told Mila was there with me, and I said, I hope I remember how to do this. I haven't welded in a while, but we welded. It held up, and well, we're good to go. If you need welding, let me know. We'll weld it. We'll do something even if it's wrong. But Mila was on the Mila showed up to where I was servicing that axle, and she got involved a little bit with her fancy little fingernails. And by the time we said and done, she was dirty. She was she said she couldn't hardly walk. Them axles will take it out of you, man, because there's a lot of moving around with that. You wouldn't think it would be, but the particular place that we did this, I had to park the van at the gooseneck, and everything was running back and forth to the axle. I couldn't get up beside of it, so there was a lot of running around. But we had a good time. We made a day out of it. Got to make a day out of whatever you're doing. So, what do you got to say, love? Anything? You good? A while back, you mentioned you had a guy for air ride on your truck, and I get the information and where he's located. West Texas. Oh, you had a guy for air ride on your truck. Oh, it's yeah. Listen, let me look it up for you real quick. It's here. Believe it or not, his name is Buddy, Buddy. Truck. It is Rouse, Rowells, Rouse Truck Accessories in Indian Trail, North Carolina. And their number is 704. Golly. 821-6828. That's 704-821-6828. They're the ones that installed mine. The guy's name's Buddy, who I work with over there. But you want to ask them for the 5,000 pounder, because you don't need 7,000 pound on 10,000 pound axle. 5,000 pound is plenty. And you want to make sure it has the onboard compressor as well as a remote control. They did a really good job for me. I love that thing. It's the best 1,800. I don't know what they cost now. I spent 1,800 and change on mine installed. Best money I ever spent. I'm telling you now. Okay, West Texas. I hope that helps you out. If you need anything else, reach out. What else you got?
That's all.
That's all? Okay. Well, what do you think about the changing of the service in the axles? What is your opinion?
I definitely had a fun with parts washer.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And my gloves.
and your nails, keeping your nails clean. Well, I get you. All right, guys, that's us. We're done. We're out of here. There is no more questions. If you need me, please reach out. If you need the van or you need service, you get put out of service, you need a DOT inspection, let us know, man. We'll do the best we can to help you out. And yeah, so remember, like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notification. Love your family. That's all you got, man. All right. We'll see you next time. This is Bryan with DD214.
Call me on the phone before the end of the night. Well, it's approaching 9:30 and my patience is about to run dry.